Hi everyone, welcome along today. I've been asked by quite a few of my subscribers out there about their toilet cisterns running really slowly. Some hardly running whatsoever, and what they can do about it. Now I've got a few videos out there on it, but it seems like you could do with a little bit more detail on why this is happening and what you can do about it. So here we go. First thing I'm going to do is show you a diagram off of the PC of a low pressure system. This is what we call a gravity fed system. It's fed from a tank in the loft, and this is the main one that results in the toilet running very slow because of a number of things that it could be. So let me show you that drawing first. Here then we have a drawing of a domestic water system in quite the normal houses that we have here in England, and as you can see up here we have the header tank, and the reason it's called a gravity fed system is because the cistern, basin, the bath are usually fed from this roof tank here. If you look here, we have a feed coming out of here, goes down there, tees up into the bath cold tap, up into the basin cold tap, and up into the toilet cistern. On the other side of the tank we have a pipe comes out, goes into the hot water cylinder, comes back out the cylinder, around, and does the same thing, basin, bath, and down to the kitchen sink. So the fact is that that tank is only there means that the pressure is very low. Now there are some flats that I've seen where actually this tank is in an airing cupboard literally just above the tank here, which is even less pressure. So you've got to be very careful on what you've got on the line to feed these cold cistern, basin, tap, bath and toilet, but mainly the toilet, because this is where the problem occurs. Here then, I'm going to show you a typical ball valve that's in lots of toilet cisterns these days, fed through the bottom and through the valve out. As it fills, it shuts itself off and the toilet's ready to flush. What can go wrong is inside this part here. Now most often they can split like this. If it got this particular one, I'll show you a few other valves in a second, and the valve will pull away like so. Now as you can see in there, this is called a high pressure seating. It's to restrict the flow. Now if you've got mains pressure, that's fine, it will get through there, but if you're fed from that gravity pressure system, you won't be. Now I know I said to you that even with mains pressure you can get problems, and you can, because although you've got mains pressure, you can get lots of rust and bits of grit and stuff actually block up in that hole and cause even mains pressured toilets to go running slowly in. So what we need to do is clear that out. So it's quite simple. You just get this piece out. You've got to either get it out. Mine's dropped out because it's brand new. I'm just going to show you. You can see the washer inside there that moves up and down. Okay, but this is the all-important seat with a little rubber washer sealing it. What do we need to do? Well, quite often the answer is hanging on the tail of a ball valve, but if it's not there, it's this. It's a little red low pressure seating. Okay, so if you've got gravity fed pressure, change that over and you will find an almighty difference to your filling of the cistern, believe me. Once that's changed over, it will run terrifically fast, no problem at all. Now for users with mains fed cisterns, if you've got a pressure problem, you'll probably find all the rust and grit is inside of there. Just clean that out and put it back. Don't change if you're on the mains to your toilet cistern. Do not change that for a low pressure because the water will not shut off. Okay, so don't be tempted, oh, I'll make it a little bit faster and change it for a low pressure one. Okay, just clean that one out and put it back. That's only for you that have mains pressured systems. The rest of you follow that. Okay, so that's one particular valve. I'll get another for you now. Next up, a common type of valve that is really horrible. This one is an old second-hand one, as you can gather. There's usually a plastic tube quite a bit longer that runs into the toilet cistern, and a little twisty bit with a ball on it here, and it's a little short reach jobby like this. They can either go in the side or through the bottom of the cistern. Either way, these are called a Torbeck valve, and one thing that can happen with these is that they're not set for low pressure. So if it is a tank fed pressured valve and someone's fitted it without taking this out, and this is the flow restrictor, goes in there. Quite often when you buy these, they are meant to be put in for high pressure, so quite often there isn't actually one in there. But just sometimes people think, oh, that's got to go in there, so I might as well push it in. And yes, it is if you have mains pressure. These valves, very temperamental, really are not my cup of tea, but unfortunately a lot of people do have them. Okay, so where all we're right about is getting more pressure out. They tend not to block up. There is a filter in there though that can block, which I'll take out and show you. There's a little pin and a thing there. Okay, I'll take it further. As you can see, there's a little filter here. If I take it out, and there it is. See that little filter? That can block up. Okay, so if that blocks up, clear that out. Again, if it is on mains, again, you could get some of that grit and grime get on there and help slow that down a bit and stop it from working. But particularly if it's on gravity and it's got that insert in there, then you find it definitely won't fill up very fast at all. But again, if you're on mains, check that little filter if it is going slow on there. Okay, and that's that one. And dropping back to this type of valve again, could be a side entry. There's usually a nut on there going through the side of the cistern. If you see that on there, that is the low pressure seating. You pull it out of there and put it in there. So you can see that's got a high in it. That's a good indication, if you see that sitting on the arm, that you've probably got the wrong seating in there. Again, this is for you with low pressure gravity fed systems. Let's take a note. Lift the lid and have a look, see if you can see that sitting on the end of the arm if you've got problems with it running slow. Okay, here we have a brand new one in the packet, unopened, haven't opened it yet, and you can see there's our red seating. There's our little spout, goes on top of the valve, and the nut and the back nut to do it in. This one is for a side entry. Now there's another type of valve that's very important that we've got a lot of in cisterns these days. I've got to show you it on a computer because I haven't got one here to show you. So we go there now. Here then we have a fluid master, and these are very common again today in modern cisterns. These also really are ideally for mains. They can do these low gravity pressure systems, but they don't run still all that well. But you can actually get a red ultra low washer to sit in there. It comes with a black one normally, which will need taking out, and the red low one in. I've never actually tried changing one. I've usually, when it comes to a gravity fed system, I don't tend to fit these ones and fit one of the ones you've seen that I've shown you. Back to our picture. What else can go wrong? Well, a few years ago we lost the overflow pipe that used to come out the back of a cistern, and now it obviously just runs into the pan when anything is wrong. This is good and bad, mainly bad. But also it means if you do have a problem with this toilet here and it is running into the back of the toilet, what will happen? Well, this tank valve up here will try to make up the water in there. I got called a couple of times to some jobs to say that they had a noise in the loft, the tank was running all night, and what it turned out to be, obviously when I got there and realised that the valve was okay in the roof tank, what was happening was the valve in there was running down back inside the pan. It hadn't been spotted, and it was meaning that the ball valve was running all night long and making quite a noise. So that's a bit of a shame, because an overflow pipe out the back would have showed you that something was wrong and you can sort it out straight away. But that's another little problem. But also, if you think about it, if you've got your toilet valve just running in very slowly and you flush the loo just before you go to sleep, well, I do, you do when you get older, you flush the loo and obviously it's blocked, or you've got the wrong seat in there, and what's happening, it's filling in really, really slowly. So what happens, this tank valve up here starts to fill also very, very slowly. So you have this noise of the main roof tank filling into your cistern for possibly an hour, 2 hours, however long it takes for your toilet to fill up, which can be quite a noise. So you've got a double fold problem there, which means you really do have to sort this thing out. So what else can go wrong regarding the pipe work? Well, on cold feed cisterns like this, you'll find there's usually a gate valve here somewhere in an airing cupboard to turn off. Now, a lot of times they could be shut halfway across and never properly opened fully. You can always check that that's fully opened. Make sure there's no stopcocks anywhere on the line. They are completely taboo. And one other thing that I think can now go wrong that's been done quite a lot if you've got gravity fed system is this bit here that feeds the cistern. Because what do we fit? Well, I'll show you. We get one of these, don't we? Invariably we have a flexi that fits between the last bit of the pipe work into the toilet cistern. Now, by their very nature, these are not very wide. This one is a wider one, but generally they're even smaller than this. This is a particularly nicer wide one, but as I say, generally they're thinner. And also this one's got a valve on the end, which is quite normal, and you may just have a valve like this on the copper tube if it's going in, but these restrict the flow also, because look at the size of the hole in there. I mean, if I shut the valve off, you'll see the valve go over and how small that actually is. So once again, for the old humble gravity fed system, that really is slowing the feed down to the toilet.
Now show everybody, because we couldn't quite see.
Right. So if I turn that round, you'll see. How about that?
Yeah.
You can see that, can't you, there? Real restriction on the flow to the toilet cistern. So actually I don't recommend putting these on there. I've seen even worse things done where the pipe ends here and the cistern valve is here, and they've gone something like this to get it to go up. Now I've even seen these kinked right over double to get them to fit where some amateur's done it, and obviously that is really going to stop the flow. And when you consider this is the thinner one, can you see down there how thin that little opening is there? That is restricting your water pressure on that gravity system. Something awful. The reason you have a gate valve in the airing cupboard is because they open fully, and because they open fully it allows the pressure right round to the valve. There are other types of valves, full wave valves that you can get that go on the pipe work to the cistern. Much better valves, open the full width of the pipe, allowing the pressure not to be cut down in any way. Do have a look at those if you want a valve on the cistern, so that on that pipe work, I mean to the cistern, so that you can shut it off to do anything to the ball valve. Okay, other than that, that's about it. That basically covers all the problems to do with why those horrible valves are always playing up, because they're not really their fault, I guess. It's just they've got the wrong seating in it, or they're blocked up, or whatever. They do need looking at. If you start to get a slowdown on the mains, you know it's blocking up with stuff. If you've got a slowdown and you've got a low pressure system, it's probably got the wrong seating in it, or it's been restricted in some way. Thanks for watching. You know where to find me. Al's Plumbing Channel.